Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. This is the Wellspot series where I interview really interesting people in the wellness world who have something to share that I know is going to bring you joy, happiness, and balance. So today I have my lovely friend, Michelle Fox. She is a culinary nutritionist from Colorado, and we first connected in the Origin community with Kate Northrup, all about how to do less and enjoy more of life. So today she is going to talk about something fun. And I actually wore my dress that I got from Mexico on our honeymoon, my bright orange embroidered dress that brings me so much joy. And I know that it's vacation season for a lot of people. The summer is just about upon us, and we're all wanting to get away and be in the sun and have more fun. But I want Michelle to just guide us through how can we do that and, stay healthy even on vacation. So what I guess, where do we start? Do we start in the planning phase? Do we start while we're there? What do you suggest, Michelle?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I would say plan, 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 plan. I might say that 10 million more times in this conversation. But yes, absolutely. We want to plan ahead as far as actually, I'll start with the one point that people sometimes overlook, which is planning where you're staying. So I know you and I are both big fans of resorts, which awesome, there's obviously a lot of choice there. However, if you are one of my friends who really wants more control over your food, I really suggest, what's the word, want to inspire you to perhaps look at like an Airbnb or a VRBO where you have your own kitchen and you have your own means to cook that food. And I know some people might push back and be like, hey, Michelle, I'm on vacation. I don't want to cook. That's the last thing. I'd say, okay, that's fine. But maybe having that kitchen gives you more control over perhaps creating, protein shakes to keep you going and keep you on track. Um, Perhaps you have that kitchen to play and experiment with some new exotic fruits and veggies that are in the region that you are traveling. And then also just having that VRBO slash home-like area, I just feel it gives me more control over my body and the space that I want to cultivate while I'm traveling. So I'd say to start there, just very fundamentally looking at where you're actually traveling to.
I like that kind of putting everything into perspective of what kind of experience do I want to have and how much control do I want over my food, which is super important. Okay.
Yes. And on that note, as you just said, that I think it's really important to also research the language in that place. So, for instance, um, my family and I were recently in Cabo San Lucas, and I actually was caught off guard because I just didn't plan ahead. So again, that's probably why I am saying to you to plan, 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 to learn from my mistake because I got there and I really struggled letting the wait staff know that I'm allergic to gluten. I would say, sin gluten, no gluten. And they kind of looked at me like, huh? And so we had to, of course, do the Google Translate. Long story short, I just now, moving forward, I know that I will plan and prepare ahead for if there is going to be a new primary language spoken that's different than English where I'm going. I'm going to research how to say no gluten, please.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you feel
Yeah.
like they understood what you were saying after a while?
We got there. Yes, it definitely took a few people and then like, oh yeah. And it did turn out to be as simple as sin gluten, but they didn't always know what the gluten was. So then that was where Google Translate came in to kind of break down it's the wheat flour, no
Mhm.
soy sauce. And so Yes, I try to be prepared as much as possible ahead of time.
That's really smart because it just takes so much stress out when you're in the moment when you're trying to enjoy your meal.
Yes.
That-
Absolutely.
That's really interesting because so let's say you're in this foreign place and maybe they don't understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to speak their language, but you're not fluent. Can you think of like a few safe items on the menu? Let's say someone is gluten free. What do you think they could choose where even if they don't understand what you're requesting, they might be good choices?
Yes. So almost everywhere I've traveled has rice. Simple as that. And I know, that might sound a little plain and boring, but you can spice that up with different spices that they have, sea salt, pepper. But you can ask for grilled meats, grilled chicken, grilled fish could always be delicious. And then absolutely the vegetables that are in the region. You want to ask for as many of those as possible. And then, of course, you want to ask if those can be grilled or steamed or baked. And then, obviously, you'd have to learn how to translate those words. But yes, we want anti inflammatory foods, whether we're traveling or we're at home.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so chicken or fish or any kind of protein is usually safe. Probably a salad is okay. You could always say dressing on the side. I'm always nervous about getting rice. Like if I'm home and I'm out to eat, I'm like, can you just check with the chef? Because sometimes they might put something in it to thicken it up. But
Mm.
like you're saying, be careful.
Yes, and including with the salads, because some places the water is not so safe. And so if you think about, they're washing the lettuce or they're washing the tomato in this water that's not necessarily safe for your body, I say you got to be careful on the raw veggies sometimes too, depending on where you are in the world.
It's so true. Okay. So if you do not go to the resort and you have like the Verbo or the Airbnb experience, are you getting the whole family involved in the meal planning and like what do you guys want to eat? Or are you just kind of going there and being like, okay, we're going to batch cook or cook every night?
Yes, I absolutely love that question. And I think there's no wrong answer. I love both of your ideas right there. As far as planning ahead, or once you get there, just cook one big meal that hopefully lasts for 2 or 3 days so that you're not in the kitchen because absolutely, I want you to be enjoying your vacation. And for some of us, perhaps cooking is relaxing. For me, it does happen to be relaxing and I love it, but I know that's not the case for everybody. So, yes, I try to make cooking as simple and as easy as possible. I actually do have a planner at michellefox.com/planner, and it's a super simple template that you can use whether you're traveling or whether you're home. But for the purposes of this conversation, I think it would be an amazing tool to, yes, plan ahead. So you'd have, Monday through Sunday on the form, mark what you want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Obviously, when you get there, you might not be able to find all the ingredients that you typically shop for when you're at home. However, perhaps you'll be inspired to try some new ingredients and flavors in the place where you do end up traveling to. So, yes, if you're able to travel or fill out the planner before you travel, I think that is going to give you a lot more peace of mind and hopefully relax your nervous system while you are there in your final destination.
I love that so much. The planning, my mom always used to say, plan the work and work the plan, Michelle.
Oh, I love
Really,
it.
really helps.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know it's so funny, like how whenever I leave the house, or especially when I'm on a plane or a long car ride, I absolutely cannot leave the house without snacks or like a bottle of water. So I'm just curious what like your go-to travel beverages and snacks are.
I so love that question. Yes, 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 yes. So first, let's start with that water bottle. I am a pretty big stickler about the water bottle being on the desk at all times, in the car, anywhere I am. So especially on an airplane, we take, and I say we because I do have a family. I have a husband and three teenagers at this point. And we all have our own individual water bottle that we carry with us. And of course, you empty it out before TSA, but a lot of airports now, and I would reckon to guess most airports now have filtered water systems where you can fill it in when you get past TSA. And that way you do have plenty of water. And if not, of course, you can always buy that water at the convenience stores on the other side. But yes, number one, you get an A plus, Michelle, because yes, we want you to have that water at all times with you on the airplane, especially because we can absolutely get very dehydrated with air travel. And then depending on where you go, especially if it's a Caribbean or a place where you're like really hot and sweaty all the time, we definitely want to be filling in and filling back with the healthy filtered water. In addition to the water, goes back to the planning, which would be delicious snacks. Because, yes, there are so many things you can pack to have on the plane with you. I personally am a huge fan of Chomp's meat sticks because they're, organic, dairy free, gluten free, sugar free, delicious. So there's Chomp's. There's a protein bar, Resist. That's the only protein bar I recommend to any of my clients because, again, it's dairy free, sugar free, gluten free, and it's still delicious. But
Mhm.
then outside of purchase products, you can boil eggs. I'll often boil a few eggs, peel them, and just put them in a little baggie and put them in my travel bag for the airplane ride so that I'm not starving on the plane and not starving, when I land. But then you can also pack up nuts very easily. For my friends who are allergic to nuts, you can pack up seeds, which are great source of protein and fiber in some cases. Oh, and then baby carrots are, delicious little crunchy things to keep you satiated throughout your travels. So, absolutely, I definitely recommend packing snacks so that you're not feeling like the whole, shakes because you're like, where's my next meal coming from? It's like, no, I got this. I got my little snack here while I can make, have the snack so it gives me time to make good choices when it is time for the meals in this new place where I'm traveling.
I love that. I love that so much. Being prepared takes the stress out, and you always have something on hand. And thankfully, when you're at the airport security, they don't take your snacks away, even though you have to dump the water
Right.
bottle. But
Although I should say, knock on wood, at this point, that is the case. Yes, I've never had my snacks taken away from me.
that's awesome. I'll have
Yeah.
to try the resist bars. I've never heard of them. Where do you find them?
Yeah, so you can actually get a discount if you purchase them through my site. So it's just michellefox.com/store. And when you go there, they have three different flavors. I'll tell you, chocolate is my favorite. And I'm not even really a chocolate person, but their chocolate bars are really good. So I recommend you trying that out. And I think they might even do snack packs. But if you go through my link, I think you can get 10-15% off of your first purchase. And I hope you enjoy them. If you try them,
Oh,
you have to let me know.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love finding new snacks. It's just so much fun.
Yes. Yes. And with that, I don't want to leave out the fact that if you are on an airplane, don't be shy about asking for special accommodations. Like oftentimes you can research ahead and you can see what they're providing on the plane. And in some cases you can order ahead and say, well, actually, I would prefer, some gluten-free crackers or for the overnight flights or the really long ones, you can actually order gluten-free meals. Or if I have vegetarian friends who are listening, you can order vegetarian meals. So I just really like to encourage people and inspire people to advocate for themselves because the airlines, believe it or not, I do truly think they want you to be comfortable and they want you to have what you need to keep your body healthy and happy.
That's cool. I never thought about ordering those snacks ahead on the plane. I love that idea. That's a really good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll actually give a special shout out to Japan Airlines. I traveled to Bali last year and oh my goodness, they like overfed me on the flight from LA to where did we land? Oh, this is horrible. I can't remember the city where we landed, but on my way to Bali, I'll say I was in the air for like a little over 10 hours. then they fed me like 4 different gluten-free meals and snacks, and like I was overfed, and I was so grateful because I'd never had that experience before. So that's what truly opened my eyes to say, or to see that, wow, if I just ask for it, people are happy to provide that for me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love that these
Yeah,
options exist. And I feel like the more people that request them, I think they'll make that a priority. I do believe, like you were saying, a lot of the chefs, even if you're going out locally, let's say you don't know what's on the menu that's safe, or I think if you just pull the chef aside or ask the waiter or the waitress, can you make something? Can you make me the local fish of the day with a steamed vegetable and maybe a salad or something on the side? They will go out of the way because they want you to be happy, and they don't want anyone having a bad experience. So
absolutely. And
it's
I
so
love
important
that
to
you,
speak up, right?
yes. And thank you for mentioning that. Yes, the restaurants, when you get there, thank goodness we have technology. So a lot of restaurants are now online and you can look at the menus ahead of time, which is great. But to your point, Michelle, absolutely. Bring your phone, tablet, something that has the Google Translate on it, just in case, so that you can ask for exactly what you want.
Yeah, I love that. So, speaking of technology, are there any like apps that you like for recipes or apps for, finding safe restaurants wherever you are?
For my gluten-free friends, there's a website slash app, or maybe that's an app called findmeglutenfree.com. And they are amazing because it's an app run by fellow gluten-free travelers. So you'll get, it's almost like I guess a Google but for gluten-free people, and people will give reviews on what their experience has been in the restaurants there. And so there's a good chance, no matter where you're traveling, you'll find a gluten-free restaurant if you go to that app.
I love that. I use
Mm-hmm.
that one too.
Mm.
Um, okay, cool. Well, are there like any recipes that you like when you're traveling or you're trying to make a meal for the family? Um, what are your favorite things to eat for dinner?
Mm. So we are a huge fan of eating local. And so whether that's eating at a local restaurant or shopping at local grocery stores, I really try to, again, to overuse the word, plan ahead. So for instance, in October, I'm hosting a retreat. It's going to be co-ed. We're only accepting 10 people for this. It's going to be a very intimate setting. My colleague and friend, Dr. TJ, who's a medical professional. He and I are co-hosting this event. But at that event, I will be hosting some cooking classes. And so I've already started researching some of the local cuisines in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And so, we're going to have the papaya and the pineapple and the coconut. And I'm going to find really fun and creative ways to mix that in with our proteins and fibers and healthy fats to make sure everybody's guts stay satiated and get healthy that week. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really special. I love that.
Yeah.
What is the focus of the retreat?
Yeah. So the focus is gut health, which I'm really excited to talk about. Um, I kind of hear my mom's voice in my head right now. She's telling me, "Oh, Michelle, you're going to starve everybody." And of course, she'd be teasing. And the answer is, I'm absolutely not. In fact, this will be my second retreat. The first retreat was in Costa Rica, and people were overfed. And so there will be plenty of food. Um, but the focus to your question is going to be teaching people how they can heal their guts and also cook and eat delicious foods to support their gut health so that we can have more energy and show up as the people that we want to be in the world.
Oh, I love that. So is it kind of like a mini reset?
Yes,
I know.
I love that. We can absolutely go with that term. Yes, 'cause I think a lot of us are looking for that reset button, and this will be an absolute beautiful place to make that happen. We've got a
Mm.
gorgeous home that we've reserved right on the beach. You can go to cravewellness.com/retreat to see the beautiful house and all of the juicy details that the retreat entails there.
Oh, it sounds really magical. I love that. Cooking
Oh,
classes. That sounds like fun.
yes, I cannot wait. So yes, I'll be doing the cooking classes. Dr. TJ will be doing more medical workshops to explain kind of the function and how the gut works. And then of course we'll have excursions and massage and we'll have a private chef and um, yeah, I'm counting down the days. It's going to be really fun.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. I love it.
Yes. So
That's
you
awesome.
and any of your listeners are very welcome to join us. We still have space. Um, like I said, we're accepting up to 10 people, but we still have space at this point. So I'm really excited to see who will show up for this experience.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. I know the perfect people are waiting and looking for something like this
Yes.
to get away and keep it healthy. Oh, I love it.
Yes. And I
So
know
much
you
fun.
recently went to Punta Cana as well, correct?
Oh,
Or was it
yes.
outside
Yeah.
of that area?
We were in Punta Cana. It was our first time traveling there. It was an all-inclusive resort. We stayed at Excellence, and we really just enjoyed the whole property experience. We didn't even leave the resort the whole. You didn't need to. It was like there were so many restaurants on site there. And the one thing that I did notice that was a little different than the food here back in the States is that although, we went to this buffet for breakfast pretty often, and they have a beautiful variety of fruits. And so, of course, like you were saying, you want to try the papaya and the mango, and the pineapple. And so we would get like one of each, and even the juices, the fresh juices in the morning. The thing about it is that they were not as sweet at all. Like even the watermelon that we know to be like very sweet. And I'm like, number one, are they not picking it in season and it's just not ripe? Or number two, like, do the people who manufacture our food in America, do they just like ingest it with something that makes it like super sweet and super salty and super fatty? Because it really tasted super mellow, like almost unappealing, because we're used to all of our food being like intense kind of.
Highly
I don't know. Did
processed.
you notice that? You think you've been there, right?
This will actually be my first time in
Okay.
Punta Cana. I've been in another part of the Dominican Republic, but that was almost 15 years ago. So I
Yeah.
don't recall. I just recall like really good jerk chicken.
Yes.
So it's like still makes my mouth water as I think about it.
I know. The food
Um,
there was really great. A lot of Mexican inspired dishes and a lot of plantains, which I never turn that down.
oh, that sounds delicious.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody around, keeping healthy and eating healthy while you're away? Do you plan activities as well?
Every vacation's so different. I
Mhm.
have, as I mentioned, three teenagers. And so we try to do a family vacation every year, whether it's as simple as, driving up to the mountains. I live here in Denver. Or if we're, spring break, we're in Cabo, and that was an all inclusive resort. And now that they're teenagers, of course, they're making their own plans. So there's that. But I will say, when I travel with my husband, we do often like to have like a loose plan to make sure we both agree on what that week will look like. And then when I do solo travel, I actually try to throw the plans out and just see what life brings to me. So when it comes to food, though, I do always have my snacks with me because I do like to plan ahead because I hate the feeling of like, if people can see the video, like the body shaking. So it's like, blood sugar's down, I'm grumpy, I don't feel like I'm gonna find food anytime soon. Like nobody loves that feeling. And it's so hard to make good choices when you feel that way. And so I know for sure like I'm looking at my purse across the way. My purse always has a protein bar and or a meat stick in it to make sure I don't feel that way. But as far as activities, I really kind of just see where life takes me.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
if I was traveling, I would definitely want you as my co-pilot, someone else that's also prioritizing snacks. I love that.
Yes, we'll be the snack girls.
In between us, we'll be
Absolutely.
happy and healthy and just enjoy the ride.
Yes, I'm in. Count me in.
All right. Well, if people want to learn more about your retreat and your work, what's the best place to connect with you?
Yeah, head on over to michellefox.com and you'll see all of the events if you want to plug into one of my online or in-person workshops. And then, of course, you'll see buttons for all the different retreats we're planning this year. And just join us. I would love to have you in our community, michellefox.com.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I'm inspired to keep planning.
Yay, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
You're welcome. Okay. Take care, everybody.